Hey everybody, what is going on? As promised, the Morning Show. Today I'm super excited because I have one of my most favorite clients. His name is Ryan, and he is doing some amazing things in this world. So thank you so much for joining. Do you want to give us a quick 30-second about what you do?
So the clear, hey everyone, this is the first live stream with the Marne. So Ryan Ettridge, the Clear Leader, founder of the Clear Leader. So I work not yet exclusively with executives, but primarily working with very senior leaders and leaders that are working through trying to understand what's happening around their burnout. So disconnected from work, disconnected from relationships, disconnected from self. And they might have once had this spark at work or at home, and they've lost that. They might be workaholics, they might be addicted to something, so they're facing these challenges, but they don't know what questions to ask. And I was in that position 4 or 5 years ago, and it took me a while to work up the courage as a high-performing leader to ask the right questions about what sort of help was out there, and if my high performance and workaholism was normal. And so initially was seeking a little bit of help, and I dived into the executive coaching realm. Turned my whole world. Pardon?
I think a lot of times people don't know that when I was going through my spiritual awakening, I didn't know that there was a whole industry on coaching.
Yes.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
And so do you think that's the case still? Do you feel like a lot of people don't know?
Well, absolutely. Like there's 80 to 90% of people in very senior roles, like the top 1 to 5%, that invest nothing in coaching. Or their coaching is far more about the physical world and getting their body into shape, as opposed to understanding their self and what's happening on the inner world for them. And so the Clear Leader brings that to executives. It kind of answers the questions for them before they have to go and find it and seek it. So initially it's about resolving and dissolving what's happening with burnout for that individual. But just on the other side of it, and this is what they'll find on the website, is a whole new world of leadership. It's a whole new world of connection. It's a whole new way of seeing, being, showing up, and it brings a whole new definition to potential.
Now, burnout, for me, was me Googling ways to kill myself. That was severe depression, severe anxiety. And so I guess my question for you is, how do we know if we're headed towards burnout? How would you, what could you have done with the Marne before she got to the point where she was, really at the bottom? Help me, walk us through, what does that actually look like?
Well, so let's not diminish the value of professionals too, right? Now, I don't claim to be a doctor or a professional with the PhD certification therapist, any of that. Let's not diminish the value of that. If there is a significant life-threatening thought happening, then immediately reach out to the hotlines that ask for help. Yeah, they offer the help that is for those. That's rock bottom. That's ending it.
Yeah,
that's ending it right there.
And so there's no other way. I need a rapid solution, and the solution is well, maybe I'll just end it, because that's going to be the
freedom's in the ending it. That's what's going through
live. It's more painful to live in this state of hyper burnout. Yes,
it's hell. It is living hell. And some of us that are so let's use that as a the furthest end of the spectrum, the bottom end of that spectrum, and any glimpse of I've had enough of this, right? Whatever the context is,
right?
I can't keep doing what I'm doing. This is ridiculous. That's kind of bringing the scale back in. See, I've got visions of how I'm going to turn out, and that's not how I want to turn out, right? So that's kind of bringing it back a little bit. The softer end of burnout is this disconnection from the task or the relationship or the activity, the environment, the self. Who am I?
Right.
What am I doing? This work doesn't bring meaning to me anymore.
You're like, I'm just doing the thing. Boredom. You've lost all the passion.
Yes, boredom. So at that point, it's like, I'm just turning up because it's a habit now, or I might be over-identified with the work or the action or the person. So I'm attached to them and I can't let them go.
Yeah.
But this disconnection is this
Or
misalignment
attached
with what's
to your
true
own
for the individual.
identity of who you think you are.
Yes,
Is that
exactly.
what you mean, the person,
yes.
or were you talking about like a relationship?
Both, actually. So the disconnection from self is, who do I take myself to be? What is actually going on here? Because if I lost my job, my title, all of that stuff, who would I be?
Yeah.
So that's the self. So that's the attachment to the identities in the work. Now, the attachment to, so when there's a disconnection between whatever it is that you once loved and now no longer do, there's a misalignment between what's happening with the individual and the expression. And so that misalignment is the disconnect with authentic expression.
Yes.
Hey.
Yes. That's the stuff right there. And when you get into alignment with that, please go ahead. Sorry. I just get excited.
That causes disharmony, right? It blocks the flow, disharmony, another word for dis-ease.
Yes.
So when we're out of alignment with that, and the sense that we're out of alignment with that is exhaustion.
Oh my God. I know it.
I've got to turn up again.
Yeah.
I don't want to have another conversation about the same topic with the partner or the kid or the therapist. It's just like, I've had enough.
Yeah. Now give us some remedies. Like what, if we find ourselves in this sort of apathetic place, or we're not feeling the passion, what are some things that we can do to, get out of that, but then also really start to thrive? Like, what do you teach, and how do you teach it?
Yes, good. So there are some basic, let's call them conventional practices for burnout, and they're not to be overlooked. And that is getting the body and the environment optimized.
Yes.
So if there is a habit of an immediate remedy of the lots of alcohol at night, then that is immediately in the way as a distraction. Yeah.
I don't drink as much anymore. I don't drink usually. You have to look at anything you put in your body as medicine. Coffee is medicine, alcohol is medicine. And if you abuse the medicine, then it's going to have negative effects. But when I was in my early 30s, I didn't understand this concept. And so I would try not to go through a bottle of wine a night. And I would put a sticky note on the bottle of wine halfway through that said, "Don't be such a lush." So, but then I would go back to the bottle and I would remove the sticky note. I would pour myself another glass and then I'd move the sticky note down. So that was my solution, was that, I mean, I didn't know, I didn't have the wisdom that I have now about alcohol and the negative effects, but it is like, it can be medicine, but it also is, in too much, it's poison. So do you not drink now, or at all? Or, okay. So you eliminated alcohol.
Yeah. And it's not that easy for some people, especially when you're in a habituated addiction phase. It's just, so by simply saying just stop it is a ridiculous expression for those that are have normalized it in their life, right? Yes. And those that have got the sticky notes on there, which it is easy enough for us to look back and laugh at now, but when we're in it, holy shit, the guilt, the shame, the anxiety, imagine if there wasn't a bottle there tomorrow night.
It was like, how many calories are in a bottle of wine? It's like,
so there's the other. So now there's now there's a pain. Now there's a shame about the body. Now there's all of this stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah. Sorry to go off on but I think it's important because a lot of people in my age range and your age range are still really depending on alcohol as their medicine of choice. And I'm not saying stop drinking, but I'm just saying that we need to look at it with the proper lens. And that is that it is medicine. And if you're going to use the medicine, understand how the medicine is going to affect you.
Yes, it is. And it becomes so part of the social interaction that it's just that it's not even are you drinking? It's what are you drinking tonight, and who's bringing what?
Yeah,
right?
And you're like, oh, I don't want that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this pressure is not just the physical example that we're using, but that actual social heteronomy, that external pressure on the way we think and feel and therefore respond is what's to be cleared. This is the clear leader.
To function at a super high level and to live fully and with passion, you have to be clear.
Very clear. So inner autonomy.
Yeah.
The ability to, so when there's a bottle staring you in the face, it has absolutely no energy because there's no reaction to it.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
When you
yeah,
show up to
we're
a
talking
party.
about alcohol is one, getting the body. So working out, what else? Like, tell me more.
So now we've got the guilts, the shames, the identity structures, the stories, the fears, the beliefs, the filters, let's call it the map that we're using to navigate the territory.
Yeah.
The map is out of date, which is where this misalignment is.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
The way I'm seeing the world today, when the world does not stand still, I'm using a really old map. It's like taking a dirty old iPhone 1 that has no Wi-Fi anymore, has no updates. And so you're trying to navigate this new territory that you've just walked into with a really out-of-date map.
Yes.
And then the battery goes dead.
And you
now what do you do?
You're lost.
Yeah, so this is getting clear on how you're constructing the map, expanding the map a little bit. So let's download some updates. Let's get the updates into your map so that you've got this freedom to then navigate with confidence. And then eventually there's a realization that you're not separate to the territory.
Yes.
So when there's enough clarity,
the territory and all of it.
Yeah. Exactly. So when there's enough clarity, and the spontaneity and the connection to, this is the reconnection with the environment, those around us, the work, it's flowing. There's no need to look at a map. So the clear leader has them clearing what's happening in here so that they can show up and lead in their field as the clear leader in their field as well. Wow. So that field is the home field, it's the work field, it's the self field. It's to show up and actually lead the life and work that you might have once felt when you had that initial spark before we started reaching for the bottles and different sorts of things.
I remember as a child just feeling feelings of, I remember as a child, I just call it the good feeling. Oh, the good feeling is coming, or the good feeling is here. I don't know if that was like a Kundalini rising or something as a child, but I remember very clearly the feelings of euphoria. And then you go through and, life, you collect all kinds of stupid information and patterns that don't serve you.
Sure.
And then you start to believe it. You start to believe the lies that you're not good enough.
Yeah, then you prove that they're right.
Oh my God.
Look how sure I am.
Humans are so silly. Isn't it strange what we do?
Yeah.
It just blows my mind. And then
it's weird.
We don't see that it's happening. We don't see that we're doing it to ourselves.
Back to your question of something about how many people don't know about this stuff. The reason that 80 to 90% is because we're so enculturated with that map. We're all using the similar maps, and then we're telling each other how to use their map, forcing it on everybody else. But we don't know. It's like, it's not our fault, but it is our responsibility.
Oh my God.
But it is now our responsibility.
We're buying into a delusion. We're buying into an illusion, a delusion that's not real.
We call it a demi-reality. It's like a rainbow reel. You can see it, but you cannot go and grab it.
Yeah.
So it's to be able to see through it.
And the work that you're doing is so profound, I think. And so why do you focus on, executives and leaders? Do you work with ladies or do you only work with men?
Yeah. Well, it is, there tends to be a masculine energy, but it's, and even that's not 100% true, but it's those that are ready to regain their self, authority, autonomy, etc. So anyone who is of the readiness for that will approach, and then they will resonate. So it's about a resonance. There's never really any selling once people are on a call. It's either they're resonating or not, and that's a real indicator of resonance. Now, why senior executives? They're the ones that are generally of a readiness to let go of. So they might have the financial needs met, so there's no worry about am I going to be able to pay the next bill? So they can show up ready to be challenged and supported in their next map upgrade, and then ultimately ripping that out. But they're the same individuals in this world that can have the biggest reverberating impact once they're clear.
Yeah.
They can bring this now into their organization. To your point, at the story of the child that was in this kind of euphoric stage,
yes,
the indication of that is usually there's no self there.
Exactly. Yes.
Where did it go?
There was no. I think at this time I was probably like 8, maybe 8 or 10. So my ego had already formed. So it was there. Yeah. But bigger the ego, man, harder you fall.
The story, exactly. And you fell hard, right?
Oh my God. So hard.
Fell so hard. Yeah.
So when you work with some of these people, are they expecting spirituality? Because how much?
It's very clear in the copy that it's self-inquiry. It's not coaching. I ain't here to give you the 1 + 1 = 2 leadership skills that you got from the 50 other courses you've done in the last 15 years.
Yeah. Well, I know your programs are really intense. So, but here's the thing: when your ego collapses, it is an intense moment, and it will drive you to that transcendence. So, is it a situation where it's an intense coaching or training platform where you're trying to collapse the ego, or like, what are you?
Well, of course, the paradox is that it's the ego that tries to collapse the ego. So in that sense, it's the double bind. When it tries to get out of itself, it's just not possible. But it is bringing into awareness how they've constructed their ego world. And then
Say that again, because that didn't hit me. Say it again, because I know it's good.
It's initially bringing into their awareness how they're constructing their ego world.
Oh.
Now, when you see the ego world, you can see through the ego world. And now the question is, well, who can see through it? And not a who, what can actually see through that if it's not an ego? Now, within 30 seconds, you've got a taste of what's beyond the self.
Yeah. Wow. So did you have a transcendent moment where tell us about that.
Initially, right? So that was the initial collapse of the guilt and the shame of the behaviors in the 20s around the booze and the partying and that sort of stuff.
Oh my God. That's why you and I connected, because we both had a very similar, like, boop, transcendence.
Yeah. So that was the glimpse, right? So we call them glimpses. And the glimpses are really important because they give you the view of what's actually true, the clarity. And that's why it's clarity, right? The clear leader. When you have the moment of that seeing, it is absolute clarity.
It is, isn't it? It's kind of like an
face.
epiphany, an aha moment. You're like, oh,
nothing else matters. It is absolutely undeniably perfect. There is nothing you could possibly do outside of yourself that would change the perfection of that.
Amen. Yeah.
That's there already. That's always already here. And we miss it because we're trying to do stuff.
We're trying to be something or do something. Yes, I know. Shit.
Now the heart beats,
how do we marry that brilliance and bliss with day-to-day activity?
Yes, it does take this is why it's not just okay to have that at your spiritual retreats, because you'll come back and you'll get distracted. You'll get hit straight back in the face by the thing that caused the distraction in the first place.
Yes, which is why they need leadership coaching.
The body must be clear.
Yeah.
Exactly. The body, the mind, the reactions that are learned behaviors, that are the pains and they're the suffering, they must be cleared through actual work. You cannot bypass that. There is there is no way to slip through this thing unless you stay on the medication while you're in the real world. Reintegration is, if you can just hear this, the reintegration.
Whoa. The reintegration is rejecting rejection. What do you mean by that? My brain got scrambled on that.
Yeah, it takes a while sometimes to point to it and point to it and point to it. The rejection is to see that there was never any separation.
Right.
How is God face separate to life?
Right. It's so hard for our minds to grasp.
It's not
the mind. It's not a mind thing. That's the thing, is that you have to take your mind out of it.
Yeah. So the rejection retotalizes that this very moment is it.
Yes. Because as soon as you start to think about what it means, you're already out. You've already created duality.
That's the self, yeah. So here's the thing. Okay, good. You just touched. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Duality is the illusion.
Yes.
let me just say that again, because that.
Okay. Maybe I don't get it. I think I get
not
it.
that right and wrong is illusory.
Okay. Yeah.
That we call that duality and separate is the illusion. Thinking and believing separateness is the illusion.
Yes.
You can't try and join the things together that were never separate.
Oh my God. Oh, that one hit.
You can't reintegrate what was never disintegrated.
Right. And we're constantly trying to
reintegrate something that's not separate.
Yes. Yes.
You see, now there's burnout.
Before.
Now there's burnout because you've forgotten that you're already connected.
Yes.
People. So we can faff around it, stop the drinking, stop all this stuff. But the reality is you're just going to change one habit for another.
Yeah, I noticed that about myself.
You really got to see with real eyes.
Yeah.
Clearly, the clear leader. See reality, really, the territory without the map, because the map is the illusion. People will come to therapists and doctors to say, fix my burnout, and then get them back to normal.
Yeah.
But guys, that is the invitation, and this is painting the road, the path, the paving the way for you now, here, exactly in this moment. That is the key to the doorway to potential. Yeah. It's not to remove it. It's not to avoid it. It's not to get back to what you once were. It's to see that you're being invited to step into something that's beyond your belief. Structure, identity.
Yeah, it's like your old self is kind of burning up, and you're
burn
moving
it up.
into the new.
Burn it up.
New
Let's
thing.
clear it.
Yeah.
Let's burn it up, because it's in the way now of you actually being true. Because it was never anything that was true in the first place. And so what you can do is if there is a disturbance in the body, if there is a clear addiction, if there is a disconnection or a distraction or rejection or something like that, that is an opportunity to reach out and say, hey, I want to take this forward. I want to get through this. Now, if you're not ready, if none of this stuff on this call resonated with you today, then don't diminish the value of the professional help and the executive coaches and the leaders and that, because they have an amazing value to offer to you if you've never stepped into any of that before.
Right.
But do not ignore it.
Totally. So how do people get a hold of you? Can you put it in the chat here or in the comments?
Because of Marne, the website's actually constructed in a way that will help you navigate that to answer the questions that you have about whatever's arisen for you on the call. So Marne helped shift the Clear Leader business from very basic landing page, didn't really know, wasn't really a pointy brand, ironically, the Clear Leader wasn't actually clearly demonstrating what the value was. So Marne helped extract that through her online business coaching platform and process, through an initial outreach conversation. She took I didn't know what I was asking for initially, but Marne said, hey, we need to revamp this thing to something that people are going to be able to land on and resonate with. And so that's exactly what she did. She extracted the clarity around the programs, which are still evolving now because of that. Helped prepare the Masterclass videos, the copy, the whole look and feel of that. What
you do is so important, and you're so amazing. And I'm so happy that we got to spend some time together this morning. Thank you so much for your time. I think you're awesome. I've got your links here. So I think if anybody is interested in what Ryan's got to say here, or if any of that landed, I know he's got different products and services that may help you. So definitely reach out to him. I'll also put the Clear Leader and your handles in the description after we're done here. And
nice.
It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. Thanks, Marne. Thanks for the invitation, and hello to everyone. I'm not sure who's watching. I can't see anything about the audience, but
that's okay.
I trust there's some sort of resonance there. But in any case, it's Saturday here.
Peace. Oh my
Enjoy
God,
the rest of your
Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm logging off. Bye.